I know the coaches have told you throughout your career that you needed to play through your defense to get playing time on the floor. At what point did that really click for you? When did that really sink in for you that needed to happen for you to get the minutes that you wanted?
Yeah, probably this year. More specifically, probably the last month or so, probably last couple weeks, because then it actually started to, what they were saying started to happen. I started to get those more minutes, even though, I wasn't making, the shots that I maybe am expected to, in this role on this team.
Right. Why did it take so long for you?
Probably.
If I could ask a very direct question.
Probably has a lot to do with, just my focus and my concentration level. Those talks has never been about, my inability to be able to guard. It's really just, from a mental standpoint, from a cognitive standpoint, just be able to know what's going on, but also to apply it.
Because you were a player, even before you got here, you just kind of played through your offense.
Yeah.
If your offense was cooking, then you probably had to feel like you were cooking. But just the reality of having to do something different to get playing time, just how did you just kind of work through that process to finally come out on the other end on the right side of it?
Just starting to believe in myself and just to know that I can do it. Because obviously, when I first got here, it wasn't something that, it was, but it wasn't what was getting me on the floor and keeping me there. I was still making mistakes defensively, but I was also, doing some positive things on the offensive side. So it was a little bit easier to keep me in. But now I'm playing well on both sides of the ball. So, my minutes have shown that.
How much do you enjoy playing defense now?
A lot. I love it. I'm falling in love with it, to be honest. They're having me jam the ball, they're having me pick up full court. I'm enjoying that a lot. I've been able to generate a lot of things, a lot of positive things for us from that. A lot of offense, just from playing well on defense.
So you've discovered a different world a little bit, right?
For sure.
Never too old to learn things, right?
Right.
But I'm sure growing up, defense wasn't a priority or just wasn't at the front of your mind. Even high school and stuff like that, it was all about, offense.
I think it was. I think it was to an extent. I just think my focus is better I think I'm able to sustain, the want and the drive to guard and play defense. Like, I think it's up to this point, I think it's always been, after I make a shot or something, let's get down in the stands, or, every few plays I'll show a glimpse or have a good moment on defense. But now I'm able to put, better halves together and better runs together from a defensive standpoint, and having less breakdowns on defense.
Was there a game or a practice or a situation that it just really clicked for you? Whether you knew it at the moment or as you reflected on it, does any moment come to mind here recently? Was it the IU game, the second IU game, or something else that really resonated with you?
Who did we play before Indiana at Indiana?
At Indiana?
Yeah.
We played Penn State here.
Penn State here. Probably at Indiana, I think because I was able to guard Jalen a little bit. And I was able to get some stops and stuff. And then it came down to like the final stretch of like 5 minutes left, and I didn't come back in the game, and I was a little upset about it. I think that was motivating for me from a defensive standpoint, because I felt like I was playing good defense on them and stuff, and I had made a shot or whatever, hadn't really turned it over, and I felt like I think I could have done a good job, could have gave us a little bit of a better chance to win that game.
Is this something where you go to the coaches and say, I could have helped in this situation, or why didn't you? Or you just move on from that?
Yeah, they're really good at their jobs. Like they rarely make mistakes, with rotations and subbing and stuff. They've been doing this for a really long time, longer than close to when I've been alive. But you're always going to have, your own internal feelings about, what happened or what could have happened or what didn't. That's where that trust comes in. That's where that trust came in to know that, they're going to see it too on film when they watch it the next day. And, they're going to adjust from there. And they ended up, giving me a little bit more minutes, the couple following games after that. So
When that was happening, could you see what was potentially down the road for you as far as how your role was?
To be honest, no. I was just taking it a game at a time.
Right.
Just paying attention to the little bit of increase in my minutes that there was. I was going from 15 to 17 to 19 to 22, game to game.
Right. How did Matt tell you would be starting?
Actually, I think I heard from him last. I heard from some of the other guys on the coaching staff first that there may be a possibility. But I didn't really know for sure until that day, that next day of practice.
Right.
Because we were off for 2 days, I believe.
Right. And how'd that make you feel when you found out you would be a starter?
I mean, really good because that means that they obviously trust me a little bit more than they have in the past. They're not going to start guys who they don't think that they're going to do what they ask and going to play the right way and play basketball, the best basketball that can help Purdue win. So,
Do you feel like what you've done really has allowed them to trust you?
yeah, I
you
think
feel
so,
really
because I've just been following our scout. I've been watching extra film with coaches outside of what I do on my own. And I've just been making sure I'm in sync with the rest of the guys, and that I'm following our game plan for every game, and that's what has helped me the most, I feel like.
When Ethan said what he said about you, right in front of you, I mean, how did you take that, and what did that mean for you to have a teammate step up in that situation and say
I think
that?
It was a little bit of a surprise, I would say. It caught me off guard a little bit, but that's just the type of person he is. He's a selfless individual, selfless player. He's a pass-first guy, so it all kind of goes hand in hand.
Right.
But no, it was good to hear that, the way I've handled, certain situations and the way I've dealt with certain situations is being noticed, not only by my coaching staff but my peers as well. So,
Why do you think the fan base loves you so much?
I think it probably has a lot to do with me coming back this year, and sticking with it,
Right.
Even though, the end of that season probably didn't, or half of it probably didn't go the way I imagined or the way I wanted it to. But I'm so close to my degree, a semester away.
Right.
And when I signed up to come to Purdue, part of that agreement was getting a degree from Purdue. So it's a little bit bigger than basketball.
Have you even thought about what's next for you personally?
No. I just want to, take things, a game at a time, day at a time with this team. We got a really good chance to do some special things here. So I'm trying to just, put all my energy into that.
So when you see a box score now, do you automatically look at the defensive part of the box score, or are you still migrated to the offensive part?
Usually the first thing I check is how many turnovers I had.
Okay.
That's usually the first thing I check, and then I'll make my way down to, the other parts of the game. But
I mean, when you see you and Ethan have 7 steals, that's kind of
yes.
that's not normal.
Right. I mean, it could be for us. I feel like we got the potential to do it. When we're on the floor at the same time, we got to see a little bit of that on Sunday.
Right.
I'm excited. What we can do on that side of the ball, being out on the floor together.
Thank you.